My name is Chika, and I learned the hard way that you can't trust everyone you meet. Some people wear smiles like masks, hiding the darkness underneath. My experience still gives me chills every time I think about it. It was last year, on a Sunday morning. I had just left church after service. The air was cool, the sky painted with shades of orange and purple. I felt peaceful, almost invincible. The streets were quieter than usual as I walked home. I was lost in thought, humming the hymn we'd sung in church, when a man approached me. He looked ordinary, well-dressed in a neatly pressed shirt and trousers. His glasses made him seem harmless, even scholarly. He smiled warmly and said, "Excuse me, my sister, please can you help me?" I stopped, curious but cautious. "My car broke down just a few streets away," he continued. "I need to call my wife, but my phone is dead. Please, can I borrow yours? It will only take a minute." He seemed polite and desperate. Something in me said, what if you were in his shoes? So, I handed him my phone. He made the call, or at least pretended to. He kept nodding and saying things like, "Yes, dear. I'll be home soon. I just need to sort this out." When he handed the phone back, he thanked me profusely. Then, he added, "Actually, can you help me with one more thing? My car is just around the corner, and I'm worried someone might tamper with it. Could you walk with me?" I hesitated. Something about his request felt strange. But he seemed so sincere, and I didn't want to look rude. So, I agreed. We walked together, and at first, everything seemed fine. But as we turned the corner into a side street, the atmosphere changed. The road was eerily quiet. No moving cars, no people, just rows of abandoned-looking houses with broken windows and overgrown grass. I stopped walking. My instinct screamed at me to turn around. "Where's your car?" I asked, my voice shaky. "It's just ahead," he said, but his tone was different now, colder, almost impatient. I was about to say something else when two men stepped out of the shadows. They had been hiding behind one of the houses. My heart sank. Both of them were rough-looking, with scars on their faces and eyes that made my skin crawl. "Good morning," one of them said, but his smile wasn't friendly. It was predatory. I turned to the first man, the one I had trusted. His expression had completely changed. The warm, polite look was gone. In its place was something cold and calculating. "Give us everything you have," the second man barked. I was frozen with fear. "Please," I stammered, "I don't have much." "Shut up," the first man snapped. Before I could react, one of them pulled out a knife. The blade gleamed under the faint streetlight, and my legs felt like jelly. "Your wallet," he demanded. With trembling hands, I reached into my bag and handed it over. "What else?" the first man asked, his eyes narrowing. "My phone," I whispered, handing it to him. "Now your shoes," one of them said, laughing cruelly. "My shoes?" I repeated, confused. "You heard him," the man with the knife snarled, stepping closer. I quickly slipped off my shoes and handed them over. My feet were bare against the cold pavement, and I felt utterly humiliated. The three of them laughed as they walked away, their footsteps echoing in the empty street. I stood there, shaking, tears streaming down my face. After a few minutes, I forced myself to move. I didn't even know where to go. My feet hurt as I walked on the rough ground, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get away from that place. When I finally got home, I burst into tears. My mother ran to me, asking what had happened. Between sobs, I told her everything. She hugged me tightly and said, "This is why I always tell you, don't trust strangers. The world is full of wicked people." For weeks, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw their faces, heard their laughter. I kept blaming myself, wondering how I could have been so foolish. But the truth is, evil people don't always look evil. They can be well-dressed, polite, and charming. They can make you feel safe, right up until the moment they strike. Now, I don't trust anyone easily. If someone asks for help, I keep my distance. I think twice before handing over anything, even a kind word. The lesson I learned that day is simple: not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. Some people are like wolves in sheep's clothing, waiting for the perfect moment to attack. So, if you're reading this, please be careful. The world isn't as kind as we wish it were. And sometimes, the price of trusting the wrong person can be far greater than you ever imagine.